Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new session of Holochain-in-Action. So we are going to the group of community developer here. We are going to look at the latest blog of a holochain, which is a cell cloning milestone. Let's review the blog. What is the breaking change? What's happening there? So to see what we have and what is up and what is the fresh news about holochain. So welcome to everybody is here. So that's it. I'm going to share my screen and talk. But is there anything anybody would like to say before sharing the screen, please?
Hype. Cell cloning is tight. We are really hyped about cell cloning.
Good.
It's really important.
Yes. Wait a second. You mentioned a nice. Should we explain what is the cloning the DNA? So before going to that one, yeah, to see what we are supposed to or let's go to the blog.
I think the blog explains some.
Let's go to the blog to see what's waiting for us and what's happening there. So I'm going to bring here, share my screen. So do you see my screen?
Yes.
And the blog, yes, here?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so 7 October is pulled out. So, and it is the blog. So, and it is the Chrome. Anyway, so Holochain release note. The Holochain version right now it is 1.0.164, archiving, restoring, deleting clones. So, so HDA it reached to 1.2.0.1.3 from a 1.2 to 1.3 and HDK compatibility. So it means in this blog, it's going to explain these two topics, compatibility, as I understand. Breaking changes, app API, admin API, DNA manifest format. So, and as it explained here, it is about this version. So, and that's it. And then we are going to see other topic. I don't know. Let's read together. Actually, we are experiencing to see reading the blog together. What's gonna happen? So, Holochain had hit another milestone roadmap. I'm excited about because it completes a feature that many applications deserve to require. Cell cloning. This feature let an application make a copy of a DNA, keeping its functionality but creating a new network. Some or all app users can then join that clone network. This can be used for a private spaces within a large group, temporary storage, opt-in participation in certain space, and the things like that. So my understanding so far, because we were waiting for it, so generally, if you design a DNA, so inside your code, you want to create a new network, you can easily and dynamically on the fly create a new DNA and ask people to join it. To make it more clear, like a use case, like a chat room, if you would like to create a private chat room and invite part of a group as a group chat room, you can create a new clone DNA as a channel and invite some people inside. And also you can have kind of guard or membranes around it, for example. Anything else? Am I right?
Yeah, that's pretty much perfect.
That's it. We were waiting for it. It is the first time we are gonna have it. We didn't have it before, or I don't know. So let's see. Hey guys, please jump in if you think you need to add. Do not please wait for me. Just cut me jumping. Let's review this sitemap later. Let's see what we have here. Okay, this release complete the inner work in Holochain needed to reach the cell cloning milestone. clone can now be archived, restored, and deleted using the conductor API. And app API for archiving is here, and the admin API for restoring and deleting. So it means when we create and we clone a new DNA, also we can archive, restore, and delete. And what does it mean, restore? I don't know. So what is here? Again,
Ooh.
add link. So Paul, please. So, and then, okay, good. Restore clone, restore clone set that was previously archived. Ah, restore for archive. Okay. So archive should be, oh, sorry. So
Yeah, so that's the restore one. The archive should be in the app.
for
This is
sure.
the admin API. The archive, which is the one that we have a broken link, should be in the app, which is what it is. It is on the, okay, so let's see.
Label app restore.
No, okay, so it should be in something like app request. So right now this is an admin request in AMP. Yeah,
App.
that one, app request. And we should have archive, there it is. And create, actually, create an archive, like both.
Archive and create also, create a clone. So app request, we can, inside the admin API, app request, create clone cell and archive. And why the delete is not here? So
Matthias, maybe you have more info than me here.
Oops, not really, no. I was more hoping you are the expert.
So I think the motivation was that so the app talks through app interface and requests app requests, right? I think the core team had some fear that if the application was able to delete clones for cells, that would be disruptive. And delete would mean just like deleting all the storage and everything, right? So they made the decision to archive, and then from the admin API, you could always restore it or actually delete it for good. Right? Restore and delete, the application won't have access to these ones because this is the admin.
The application cannot delete the DNA, yes?
That's right, yes.
Yeah. It means I can create, clone the DNA, and I can archive it, but I cannot delete it. The admin supposed to do that.
Yep.
So makes sense, but why archive? It shouldn't be archive at the same level of delete.
Well, you need some way that the app says, like imagine if you want to delete a chat room in your example, you need some way that the app says, this clone, I don't want this clone anymore.
I see. And in the example, if I'm part of the channel, I can easily archive it for myself, yeah?
Yes.
Does it make sense that the agent archive it? Okay.
Yes, perfect.
If you say the app does not have the ability to delete it, does it mean that it's not even exposed in the admin API of the JavaScript client, or does it mean it's part of the app WebSocket connection there?
It is exposed in the admin API in the JavaScript client, The thing is that in the near future, applications won't be able to have direct access to the admin API.
Okay, cool.
Like right now, it's a free for all. There is no security with the communications, but in the near future, there will be.
So, and which user can have the access to admin to this one, to admin request?
The launcher.
The launcher.
Mhm.
The launcher. And how it's going to go? It means, okay, chat. I'm as the owner of a DNA. I create a clone DNA. I'm inviting you to the chat, to the channel. So it is a clone, and I want to delete it. So from the admin request. So how it means how it's going to be guarded that just Hidayat as the owner can delete it.
Hidayat as the owner. No, when you delete a clone, you're not deleting the DNA. Like delete is also local. You're only deleting your clone, not the network. No one can delete the network.
It means I'm leaving the DNA.
Yes.
So what if I want to delete the network?
Yeah, that's not a thing, I think.
Okay. But does it make sense the request is valid? The need is valid?
I'm not sure how you would have to send a message to everyone in the network saying, please delete, and you have no way to enforce it.
I see. Maybe in Holoport makes sense. I don't know. Anyway.
Could you have a cap grant? So like you have like some main, I guess if it's maybe it could still be a free for all, but anyone could trigger a remote call to like make everyone else delete their local copies. If you implement it that way and just expose it through a cap grant, would that be possible?
It is possible, but not enforceable.
Not
enforceable. Interesting.
And by that, what I mean is that you can write the application so that happens if no one hacks the conductor. But anyone could write really easily a hack for, like, imagine right now in this Zoom room. Let's forget that Zoom is centralized, right?
Sure.
This Zoom room, if one people is in the Zoom room, then the Zoom room is active, right? I could say something like, hey, people, let's all delete the Zoom room. Let's delete it and the Zoom room will cease to exist. But who is preventing you from staying? You know, I'm just requesting it. I have no way to enforce it. Yeah.
That is true. That makes sense. So let's continue. So cool. We know that the archiving is not working. Is there any topic? Let's continue the blog. So clones are automatically given role IDs consistent of the original role ID plus the suffix is 1, 2, and so forth, because not everyone using an app will be joining the same clone DHT or in the same order. These numbers are local to the user and shouldn't be expected to correspond to the same clone DNA across all user. Instead, clones ought to be identified by the clone's DNA hash, which will be affected by the DNA modifiers passed in when the clone was created. To be identified by the clone. So
So like a new network seed, for example. Yeah.
It means even if we are not going to change any property to make a DNA unique, it's automatically adding something that make it unique. No?
No, I don't think the 0.0 or the 0.1 can be part of the hash because that's a local thing and the hash would have to be consistent across all the computers. So I guess it would just be, you have to create some kind of prompt to specify what the DNA modifier should be. Or is that an automatic thing? Maybe it could be both, I guess, or either.
I think it would be useful to now go to the API and look into what is the create clone function expecting.
Correct.
This is in the app request, I think.
App request. It is app request. Archive, create clone, payload, installed app ID, role ID, app role ID, DNA modifier app, YAML properties, and membrane proof, and also name, which is optional, and also this is optional, DNA modifier apps, which is network seed properties. Okay. So I got this one. It's the DNA modifier. We can create even a new network seed and a property also, which is there. We can origin time. Okay. DNA modifier. Which part we should provide as a developer and which part for origin time is going to be generated, and all of them are options.
Yes, so it's something like if any of those change, you're going to get a new DNA hash.
Okay. Yes.
If you don't, I don't know the actual behavior. I would expect that if you don't pass any of these as some, the API is going to return an error, something like, hey, you already have this one. This is what I would expect.
Yes. Or I would expect to add in something automatic that make it different, but maybe no.
So now I think if you go to, if you look for installed cell in this documentation.
Installed cell.
Installed, yeah, that's it. This is
So-
what we get. Oh, private fields. I don't want private fields. Okay, can you click on source there on the top right source? That one. Okay, good. So this is what we get, like when you do app info and you get a list of cells, this is what you get.
I see.
A list of cell ID, role ID.
List of cell ID, role ID. Okay.
And I think the 0.0, 0.1, 0.2, this is just because they had to fill the role ID with something.
Okay.
But this role ID doesn't have much to do, as far as I understand, with
I see.
the DNA hash.
So, okay, we can assume if we are not gonna change anything in the property that can change the hash of DNA, we are gonna receive error. So let's imagine It can be a question we can ask. Okay, what is the difference between archiving and cell and deleting it? And why do you have to use the two separate APIs to finish the job? Well, an app should have the power to retire clone cell as needed. So to retire clone cell as it is, think of the temporary workspace. Okay, makes sense. But in order to protect the user from a data loss, it shouldn't have the power to delete those cells' data, either through software bugs or malice. I don't know.
Malice.
So the admin API endpoints that let a user restore or permanently delete cells will generally be available through the UI of the software controlling the conductor, the Holochain launcher, for instance. So we have Matthias here. Anytime, Matthias, about the launcher, please jump. Please tell us that it is okay. So breaking, let's see. Oh, we're reaching the breaking point. Matthias, are you ready? The term DNA modifier is a new one for this release. It describes the network seed, property, and origin name. Okay, yeah, we already saw it. So DNA modifier opt, which is a network seed, property, and origin tag. Okay, network seed, that the phrase that we could provide for the network to create a new DNA hash, really quick property of a DNA that we could put inside. It can be anything like a progenitor, something like that. And origin time, it is this one. So everything that affects the DNA hash without affecting its running code. Without affecting, okay. Theoretically, property can affect the way the DNA behaves, but only in the same way that environment variable affect the shell script. So in English, so we need to provide example. You need to create the admin user. I'm going to explain my understanding. So in the clone DNA, I can create a one channel. I need to put my, I want to say it is the channel I'm admin. Admin role, I can put my public key inside the property as an admin user of this channel. It is my example. So is that clear? Do you want to add something more? Do you want to correct me, please, John? So it means it is the DNA. And what is the breaking chain? It means, so as a result of, let me continue and come back. As a result of the above word, these modifiers are now bundled together in a one DNA modifier. Again, let me connect. Wow, it is working. So structure, a variable, you interact with them. All fields are still optional except for origin time, which I will get to below. But how it is possible? It was, wait a second. What's the difference here? Opt is different. How? Again, I remember it was optional. It is DNA modifier opt and DNA modifiers. So let's discover DNA modifiers opt. Okay, DNA modifiers opt or modifier opt. Okay, I don't see. Let's continue. Anybody would like to add something here?
Yeah, I think DNA modifiers op is just the API, and DNA modifiers is the internal type.
Internal type. So how it is possible? It's optional. It's for a cloning DNA. We are going to not send, but internally, it means it's going to generate itself.
I think that's a good question. I think it may be inheriting it from the DNA.yaml. So in the DNA.yaml, if you remember, we already setting these properties. So maybe if we don't send any, like maybe the DNA modifiers opt is kind of an override.
And does it make sense? Because based on the explanation, the time used to denote the origin of the network used to calculate time windows during gossip. So it means, should it be optional or overridable?
That's a good point.
It is the things that at all, I would say it shouldn't be here, general. Anyway, let's continue. So, and we need to ask Paul to review, to watch this video. Let's see. As a result of this modifier are now bundled. Also, did I read it here? Expect for this one. But the field modifier is required because, okay. Oh, I need to finish. But the field modifier is required because you have to supply a value for the at least one field in order to actually modify the DNA. Yes. Here's where you might see this struct DNA manifest, the main API, register DNA, install app bundle, and the app API endpoint, create clone. But the field modifiers is required because you have to supply a value for at least one field in order to actually modify DNA. When you modify DNA, you change the hash. Yes, we got it, but all the fields are optional.
Yeah, but the way I'm reading that phrase is that if all fields are still optional.
The topic that it means except origin type. It's explaining DNA modifiers, and DNA ops. So
well, now I'm confused. Yeah.
The same with me. Where was the create? Wait, create. Archiving, deleting. Create was. No, archive, delete.
Archive is in app request.
I had it up. Okay, it is for delete now. Admin now. DNA option. Okay, where was it? Let me go back here. App was app request, yeah. App request.
No, we don't have it here. Because of the create, I think we are in Holochain types. And we should be in Holochain conductor API.
No, let me go here. This is restore. So in the restore, we had a create. We had a. Now it is an app. No, it is an app request.
But we should be able to look for app request in, not here. Here you are in Holochain types. Like we have to be careful. It's not the same documentation.
Wait. I had it open here.
Now we are in Holochain conductor API.
Okay.
No, now in Holochain types.
In Holochain types.
I'm seeing this. You see on the top left. At all, like the top left, and it's docs.rs, and then on the right it says Holochain types. On the left, on the top bar. Yeah, and now on the left. Like I see there, it's Holochain. This is Holochain types. It says Holochain types 0060. And the admin and app requests are in Holochain conductor API, not in Holochain types.
Holochain conductor. Wait a second. I want to go and clean everything to go from the scratch. That I was in the deleting, was in the admin panel. I was about the restoring. So in the restoring, clone cell restore, I want to create. It was create now. It was.
Yeah, I should be able to look for app requests here.
In app request. It is in the here. And I'm creating in this one. So when I'm creating this one, I'm trying to provide app request clone self created. I just want to see where we can send this opt.
Inside the create clone cell payload, no?
This
Yeah.
is a modifier opts. Look, the all opts, which is not optional. All items are optional, and it is not matched to this topic that it is required. You need to send to receive a different hash. So, but how it is working if they are all optional? This is my question.
Maybe, can you go to the blog post? Because if you scroll down, maybe newer Holochain versions, when calling, no, it doesn't seem like that changed, right? In next versions. I don't know.
Okay, breaking the origin time field in your DNA manifest, now part of the modifier stack, is now required. The origin time of DNA manifest, okay? This field is still optional for the admin API endpoint that install DNAs or clone cell as they will default the DNA manifest. Read the change log. So read the change log. Here again, change log 2020 blah blah CLI app API clone cell existing are going to be pull request. Okay, let's continue below. So relax register DNA payload call. This release contains only one small change when calling register DNA payload via the admin API. The entire DNA modifier struct can be omitted if you have no modifier to give. Previously, you had to provide an empty struct. Register DNA payload. I have no comment here if anybody.
Like, I don't know if registered DNA payload is useful anymore, actually. Shane, Matthias, are you using it at all?
I've never used it so far.
Same.
I didn't know it exists.
Same.
And registered DNA payload, it means when we are registering DNA and for the first time, or it means installing. What does it mean, registered DNA payload?
So if I remember correctly, the thing that happened is that at the beginning of time, we didn't have hub bundles. 2 years ago, we didn't have hub bundles. So what we did is we registered DNA and then we installed app with the registered DNA. But now then hub bundles came along and I think they should have deprecated registered DNA and install app.
What about in the what about in the dev hub? Can't you upload just like a DNA file on its own? You don't have to bundle it unless I'm
sure.
But then because then wouldn't you have to register it from uploading it in the UI?
But this is an API that Holochain offers. When you upload it to the dev hub, you are calling a zone function in the dev hub app. It's not actually the same. So yeah, here registered DNA means something like I'm giving you the source code, please make it available in my conductor so that I can install apps with this DNA. Like, it's weird. Now everyone should be using install app bundle, I think. I think it's a leftover.
So I forgot to take a note for maybe Powell. Let me mention, and we can copy and paste here. So the topic right now, it is about registered DNA payload. Maybe I can write it down that it can be deprecated. Why is it not deprecated? Yeah. Why? It is a good question. It is
I
not
think so.
deprecated while we have app bundle. So, and the previous question, it was about, still I don't understand what is the big difference or generally difference from these modifiers and modifier, DNA modifier and DNA modifier ops. DNA modifiers and DNA modifier ops. Let's continue review if we find anything else. So 165, a relaxed registered DNA payload. We reviewed right now. This one, breaking change in gossip. Okay, breaking network protocol, HDI, SDK. This release breaks compatibility with the network protocol, making it clear what the basis of the link add operation should be. Okay. The only consequences for you is that users of your app won't be able to use both this conductor and a previous conductor in the same DHT. And you may have to add or remove a few into S and change your use of any DHT hash to any linkable hash if you are using baseless link in your zone code. So let's finish and then note that this doesn't break host API compatibility. You can still mix and match zones and conductor in this compatibility series. Oh, what was that? So to use both disconnect and previews, they cannot, and you may have to add or remove a few into in your code. It means it's break changes. What is this? Yes. A few intos. Okay, a few intos, it is for plural, and change your use of any DHT hash to any linkable hash. So it affects the baseless link. Note that it doesn't break host API compatibility if you are using a baseless link. Okay. Any comment? Okay.
No, not really.
Breaking ROS test utilities. ROS test utilities, because we have two types of testing. So there have been Triroma and ROS. There have been some smart changes to help her for creating inline zone in our ROS-based test utility. It is unlikely to affect you, even if you have been using sweetest to write your zone test. ROS test utilities. So ROS-based test. It means the sweetest, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it seems so. I don't know why it's breaking if it doesn't actually break.
Exactly. It is the paradox. It's breaking change, but it doesn't affect you. Anyway, bug fix attempting to restore a clone cell by ID would fail. This is now fixed. Attempting to restore a clone cell by ID. So it means there was an issue. Find clone is archive clone. So anyway, read the change log. A known issue. We are still working on a gossip performance issue for a large entries. The scheduler or scheduler is this. Okay, Shane. It is better to say a scheduler, a scheduler, a scheduler.
There are a lot of different ways you can say it. I say scheduler. Some people will say scheduler.
The scheduler is still not firing correctly. It's being worked on. Okay. So it means we have issue here with the version bump of HTI to 0.10. Developers are noticing some dependency mismatch on a new zone project that prevent them from being compiled. A fix is in the works. Let's go to see what we have here. Fix fit pin in the HTI is 3 manifests. No.
Like if you go to the that pull request and then to the issue, I just want to note addresses, like inside the description of the pull request, you see summary. Oh,
You mentioned.
yeah, go back.
Okay, wait. Okay.
Inside summary, it says addresses 1596.
1596.
Yeah, that one, that's the issue. Like if you go to that issue.
Okay, addresses. Okay,
Yeah, so this is big and bad. Kind of everyone is going to bump into this. Like it was funny. It was like maybe 2 weeks ago, and first off was Wesley, and Wesley was saying, "Hey, things are breaking," and then Connor actually did like a deep dive. So the HDI versioning is broken, basically. Careful. We like Hedayat, if you want to, we can review this a bit in depth here. If you don't, that's fine. There is a fix, a temporary fix, which is to pin the dependencies. All your dependencies, you have to pin them and be careful about it, which is kind of a bummer, but yeah.
Please, if you think anybody saying this one is necessary, please go ahead if you want to go deeper.
Okay, just briefly, the HDI is the first crate that is not 00-100, it's 010, right? But Cargo interprets that every 001, 002 is a breaking change for Cargo. But Cargo thinks that 011 and 012 are compatible.
Because the minor changes.
Yes. But the Holochain core team haven't set up a good process to take into account where did it actually change or not. So now we are getting 013, which is not compatible with 012.
Yes.
And
I see.
things are breaking. So the solution is to actually set the HDI in all your zones to equals 012. Like when you go to the cargo.toml, HDI equals, and the versioning is equal. Yeah, if you want to share the screen and show it.
If yes, please, if you have it right now, or I can share, but do you have, I don't have any example to show. Do you have any?
Yeah. I actually share the screen and show the issue. Okay. I think it's there.
Okay, wait.
Go, yeah. So fix suggestion, you had it there. So scroll, okay. Fix suggestion, switch to equal 012. So this, if you set this in your cargo.toml, it will work because you're saying, no, I'm forcing and downgrading. And I think cargo update, this command is doing the same.
Okay, I see. Just one question. If there is a breaking change, why the number we are adding, it is just a minor change. The breaking change shouldn't affect the major change here.
Yep.
Why when we have a breaking change, we just increasing 2 to 3, we need to increase this 1 to 2.
Yeah, like the Holochain release process is broken right now.
Okay, so can we make it that to make it to finalize the breaking change and to synchronize the versioning number from a minor and major to breaking change?
Yeah, like that's the as far as I know, that's what that pull request will do. Like without this, the HDI is broken forever.
Yes.
And we don't like the HDI being broken forever.
Okay. So let's see. Let's continue. Do you see my screen?
Yep.
So, okay. Client release now, JavaScript client 9292 cell client. I'm rolling this 3 release into 1. It means from the last blog, Powell didn't put anything here, but he's covering 9.1 to 2 are just a bug fix. This release brings support for the conductors and new cell cloning feature by exposing create a clone cell. For sure, restore clone cell and delete archived clone cell. Keep in mind that the later 2 are admin API calls and should only be used if you are building a UI to control the conductor itself, not just a hApp UI. So, and download the client and release. Let me click and we will come back and discuss. It is the Holochain client on the NPM. Yes, what is the version right now? 9.2, as I mentioned, and also its release note. First of all, create clone cell, restore clone, delete. Where is the archive?
Right.
So there is archive clone. It is there, he didn't mention, or it is not there at all. Client, let me go to client. The blog forgot to mention, or we don't have in JavaScript.
I don't know. We can look into the code to see that.
So dependencies, explore. So client. And what do we have here? Delete archive clone cell. Delete archive cell.
So archive should be in the app, right?
Yes, source API admin, yes.
But archive should be in the app. So it's source API app, no?
Source API archive, okay. Sorry.
This is, yeah, this is, look at it.
Yeah, it is there.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is
it is not in the blog. Okay, so interface. Okay, it forgot in the okay. And it is the topic we were discussing. Keep in mind that later 2 are admin API. It means this delete and delete archive. What 2? 2 are admin API call and should only be used if you are building a UI to control the conductor itself, which is the launcher. Matthias, huh? Am I right? Not just the hApp UI. So about the 2, maybe it was a delete. Which one was in admin? It was just delete was in the admin. Why this? It's telling the later 2 are admin API.
I think restore is admin also.
Restore was in admin?
I think so.
Ah, it is app, sorry. Restore clone and delete archive clone. Okay. Rust client to self-cloning. This release also adds support for self-cloning, download clone, blah, blah, blah. Trirama release note. And once again, we have another dev tools that have been updated to support self-cloning, Trirama, and TriCP, the orchestrator for multi-conductor test. Now let you write tests that involve this new feature. So I didn't even touch it. If anybody, please just try CP.
No, TriCP, I think they are using it internally in Holo. I don't think no one is using it from the dev community.
Really? Trirama? It is not part of Trirama?
It is, yes, but it's like for performance testing. Not sure.
Let me see if there is any in the example. Always we had the example. Okay, it would be really nice if we could have some example also with all description. Anyway, Berlin Hackathon, the topic is not a lot to discuss. It's going to be hackathon in Berlin from 28 to 30 and a conclusion. That's it. So, okay, I would like to a little bit go for the Trirama here to
Okay.
and then finally we can go and wrap it up to Trirama. Why I'm losing my way in a lot of things. So it
I
means
missed again what Guillermo was saying because my internet is constantly breaking.
so do you want to say something now?
No, it's fine. Missed it.
I just wanted to be curious. Try CP. Is there any signal or sign here? Try CP7. Okay, try CP. No example. I don't see any place for example. That's it. That's it. It was the aim to just review the list.
So I think to wrap it up, I can in a minute show how I have converted notebooks in the past week to use clone cells.
Oh, cool. You have example. Yeah, please.
Yes, I think it's a good way to kind of wrap it up.
Yeah, sure, please.
So there are good news and bad news. What do you want first?
Bad news.
Bad news is it's not working. There is a bug.
Okay.
Good news is that it's simple. So previously in 10 seconds of context, Notebooks is an application in which you go and create notes, real-time collaboration notes. In Notebooks, every note is its own DHT. Previously, we had to actually install a different application every time we wanted to create a new note, not pretty, and a lot of piping and a lot of boilerplate, not good. And now it's this simple. So that's a plus. So in here we are saying clone not DNA, and we are saying the differentiator of each node is going to be a creator, agent public key, and a timestamp. Right? Those two things make every node unique. And here I'm just setting a network seed, and the network seed is notebooks, which is the name of the app, creator, timestamp. And this will make a new unique DNA every time this clone node DNA is called.
Really simple.
Yeah, simple. And it like creating works and you can interact with it, everything good. Now I bumped into this issue when I finished the refactor and I was about to install in the launcher. Well, I installed in the launcher actually. Problem is that when you restart the conductor after cloning a cell, it panics.
If you restart the conductor after cloning a cell, it's panic.
So you start a conductor and install an app that clones cells. You clone a cell, you stop the conductor, you restart the conductor, and boom.
Boom. Okay. So let's learn from the bad news. How they release it before testing? What is the test scenario? Can we go and to see how they can? What is this test scenario that we have that we can? Okay.
Yeah, just commented that there is a test that does just that and it passes. At least they thought about it. At least there is a test. Maybe there is a bug in the test.
So it is kind of integration test, yes? It means we need to have to create an environment like a staging something during the CI. So and it means just a unit test in the Holochain source code as a unit testing of the code, it is not enough for those kind of things. And the manual test also is not.
Yeah, I agree. Create, oh, okay, we can just quickly review. These are the integration tests in theory. Conductor, source conductor test, cell cloning. Okay, so let's see, create clone cell with wrong app fails. No, that's not it. Create clone cell returns correct clone. No. No. App info includes clones. No. Clone cell deletion. No. But these are, oh, okay. So at least in this file, which it looks like it has all the integration tests for cloning, it's not testing this.
It's not covering your scenario.
Exactly.
So it is the trirama test, yes?
No, actually,
No, it is.
this is sweet test. Yeah. Maybe there is conductor setup, cell test. I don't know. I have no idea what test Yost is referring to. But
generally, I would like to see what we can learn from this process. It means what scenario that is there in when you did, but we cannot or we should cover in the integration test. It is the topic.
yeah, like the scenario is relatively simple. Start a conductor that clones a cell and then restart it. Right?
And restart it. Maybe can you go again to your code? Maybe they just install and just check. Maybe they didn't restart it. Okay.
I didn't see any restart here, no. Setup for agent. No. Setup conductor archive. Yeah, okay. No, like at least the tests in this file are not testing that.
I see.
I like a lot your thinking though. Like in the end, I would be really happy with something like what Rust does, which is like pretty amazing. What Rust does is they promise backwards compatibility, right? So if you write Rust, it's going to run the same 5 years from now. What they do when they are trying to publish a new version is they take like 500 repositories, which are Rust apps. They upgrade the Rust version in those repositories and they run the tests. Something like that, in which if the Holochain core team wants to bump a version, but they download 10 or 20 apps and they run their tests, like that, at least I would sleep much better at night, you know?
I see. I think it can be connected to Harlem job. He was collecting all the application to bring it. We can say which application using what and to be nominated as a part of the CLI. So a part of process, you need to go and run them and run their test to see that this test is good. Okay. Wow, it's going to be a big topic and big job, but it's going to be much more easy.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's wrap it up right now. If we can continue, we can continue our time. Thank you for watching. Take care. Enjoy. I would like maybe another time also we would continue reviewing the blog. So if there is a value inside, thank you. Take care and see you next time.